want to start this video by shouting out 3 YouTubers. Coolman229, The Serious Films, and The Rewriter, who at the time of this recording are the other creators to have attempted this feat full-fledged as their own. I won't make direct references to their take on how the story could have gone, but just wanted to make those watching this aware of their videos. Links will be in the description below. So how I'll go about covering this topic is by breaking my retelling down into 2 parts, just to space things out and cover the ground needed for those who maybe aren't aware of Halo's story and how Halo 5's installment hurt the franchise as a whole. Now, where to begin? This isn't my first video on Halo. In my last one I made a short synopsis on the franchise. So here I'll give a breakdown related specifically to the story of Halo 5 Guardians. The game's stories took what was already an amazing idea, to have a first-person shooter that takes place on an alien construct, something the size of a planet, and added a harrowing apocalyptic spin with humanity being on the brink of extinction due to a great war. You, the player, wear the helmet of a Spartan super soldier, Master Chief, presumably the last of his kind. Then the story adds a horror element on top of it all with the parasitic flood found on the ring and the reason for Halo's makers to be extinct. What could grip a player more than those story elements on concept alone? Desperation of being the last of your kind, adventure on a new world, mystery of those that left the Halo behind, horror on a cosmic scale, and good old-fashioned fun. These were the things that made the world fall in love with Halo. When fast-forwarding to Halo 5, doing a comparison isn't even fair. Although Halo 5 supports 4K and 60 frames per second, it doesn't have desperation. Humanity is fine, and you play between 2 Spartans among newly hundreds of Spartans. The adventure is B-list television craft. A conflict is made up with our protagonist having a vision that sends him on his quest, and there's no horror anymore. It's even rated T for teen, the first Halo game to not be rated mature. Sure, it still plays off of mystery, but the mystery is the one I just mentioned. Chief has a vision and goes against character chasing it down. It's superficial. The gameplay was still fun, but far from what anyone would call Halo-esque. Take away the Call of Duty mimicry and the campaign experience is still fixed to a hyper-linear track, unlike Halo's Combat Evolved's open map design and simplistic yet vast sandbox physics. The linear map design didn't start with Halo 5, but it definitely came to a head. So let's get back to the story. The first Halo game has our Spartan be the last man standing, narrowly escaping certain death and destroying the mysterious Halo so its destructive power can't be used by the alien Covenant enemies. Sharp cut to Halo 2, also known as the Empire Strikes Back of Halo, and things are as desperate as ever. All of the initial story beats return, but this time with more politics, and we get to see how the other side of the conflict lives. Even though it's the longest campaign of the first trilogy, it keeps the story tight and action-packed. Everything is a race against time. The Flood reintroduce themselves, this time with a coalescent entity known as the Gravemind, laying the groundwork for a dramatic conclusion to be found in the 3rd game. Halo 3 sees Master Chief still fighting as the last living super soldier to save humanity from the Covenant's assault on Africa. They teleport through slip space just as the parasitic Flood find Earth, and you chase them down, finding yourself at the master construct of all Halos, the Ark. The Gravemind chases both humanity and the Covenant, and the war that's raged against humanity for decades finally finds its end. The head of the Covenant is cut off. The Gravemind is blown to smithereens as you destroy another Halo above the Ark, and you narrowly escape once more. The story ends with you and your AI companion, Cortana, drifting aimlessly through space, confident that the conflict is over.
Truth and the Covenant, the Flood, it's finished.
It's finished.
Halo 4 picks the trilogy back up. With a new team behind the helm of the franchise, its future was uncertain, but in my opinion, Halo 4's story, while not entirely Halo-esque, did deliver in almost all story concepts Halo is known for. The only one it missed was horror.
Flood.
Cortana wakes Master Chief in a desperate fight for survival. After crash landing on a mysterious construct, he and Cortana must adventure deep into the new world to find a way home. They have no idea whether humanity is safe until making contact with a ship. In an attempt to boost their signal strength, they unknowingly released one of the deadliest dudes in the galaxy. This is where the mystery took a 180 for me. As soon as the Didact, a Forerunner dude, like the long extinct species responsible for the construction of the Halos, speaks, all mystery fell to the wayside. The rest of the game has you chasing down this overpowered Sith Lord until finally defeating him thanks to your dying AI companion. In Halo 4, you don't take a single step on a Halo. Granted, a story can be more than its location, and like I said at the top, Halo 4 is still good for many reasons in my opinion, but its second half is far weaker than its first, due to this mystery vacuum that is the Didact. You can probably guess what game came out following Halo 4. After 2 years of hard work, the marketing for Halo 5 Guardians began. One piece of marketing was a podcast set in the Halo universe called Hunt the Truth. Hunt the Truth was such a better story than Halo 5. It still stings to think of what 5's story actually was. I'll give you the basics. After Chief stops the Didact, losing Cortana in the process, he focuses on missions to escape the grief. He is reunited with his once thought lost Spartan team, Blue Team, and they go about protecting and serving the human colonies. On a routine mission to an abandoned ship now crawling with Covenant remnants, our old boy has a vision. His vision sees Cortana like a Celtic ghost during Halloween, erecting a massive beast from a valley. After inquiring on the matter and finding out that Cortana is in fact not dead, he's like, "I'm not over her, let me see where she's at." And they say, "She's not your concern.
You're to return to Infinity immediately."
Negative infinity. I don't like it.
And just goes after her. His teammates, who were raised from childhood to be loyal just like him, go, "Oh well, who are we to stop the Chief, or even try to reason him out of committing treason? We'll all collectively lose our minds and break the chain of command." And they all head out together. They could have met back up with their superiors and negotiated, but hey, they could have done anything other than what they did. Anyway, the story continues to find that Cortana seemed to have survived by touching a Forerunner technology called the Domain, and now she's back and stronger than ever with a new personal mission to create an authoritarian dictatorship. Both main characters, the Chief and Cortana, completely break their characters in the story. It's like the equivalent of what Rian Johnson did to Luke in The Last Jedi. A new writer came onto an existing and beloved franchise and did their own thing. The only difference between Star Wars and Halo is that Halo 5's writer cared so much less when he made this story. I don't know this as a fact, but the mere inconsistency inside of his own contained story makes me feel like this was nothing more than a paycheck. Now, with all that said, does that mean that only those who truly love a franchise should be given responsibility to write its ongoing material? Maybe or maybe not. Sometimes being too close to something makes you blind to the possibility of where else you could take a story. When you look at The Last Jedi's previous film, you can see what happens when a fanboy gets a hold. They just make the same thing that they already had. It really is a balancing act of putting someone who has a deep knowledge of the universe they're about to write for, but also has the gumption to make a story in a direction it maybe hasn't gone on before. So with all that said, it's time for me to walk the walk and tell you guys how I think the story of Halo 5 should have gone. That is, in the next episode. So thanks for watching this one, and make sure to tune in for the next one. Until then,
Wake me when you need me.